Nate, you got everything?
Yeah, April 20th. Hey, yeah. So what I'll probably do, yeah, Kevin, if you want to share your screen with me, that I can see where you're at. Where we were last time. I think you were just after buy box. Otherwise, I can show you and I can show you a couple of things. Okay.
Let's
So this is
see
where
here.
I stopped. I had put in everything that you had sent me. I put it into the core overview, and then I went back and made each one its own separate project.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what
Okay.
happened. Yeah, and funnel.
Looks like you're heading in the right direction anyway.
Yeah, that's cool. You got all this broken down. That's awesome. Uh, that's good.
So now we just got to tie it all together.
Yeah. So that's good. So basically, really, what we want to probably do is start generating your distress intelligence from the Wayne County and those other counties you gave me. So I don't know if you've already deployed your agents. Um, your agents would be deployed from obviously from your prompt bar where the plus is, and you go to agent mode there, and then you want to deploy your agents. Yeah, and then agent mode. Now you're in agent mode. Now to get out of, if you were to get out of agent mode, you just hit that X, the blue X that says agent. But you just hit that and then you get out of it. But yeah, go back to agent mode because I think you're at that point now. If you've already got your buy box and you got your tools set up, right? You've already got your ARV and the comps and all that stuff set up for that. Market reality assessment, skip tracing. I see you got the skip tracing war room. All right, so let's see if we can deploy some agents. Um, so you want to tell it you always tell it what it is. You are
Okay.
giving it a job. You are a scout in Wayne County and put those other two counties and you want to tell it to go to those counties, to the AHJs, to the counties, the authorities having jurisdiction over foreclosures, pre-foreclosures, and the others distress, and that you would like it to to review the processes for those counties and provide you with links and off ramps to, that's what you want to tell it. You want to give it as much detail as you want. The first thing is you always want to tell it what it is. Then you want to tell it what it's doing, and then you want to close with what the output, what you want it to return to you, and where. In order to send it to that email, I told everybody they should set up a free Gmail account and then go to apps here in the apps, which is in the sidebar, and then push connect to Gmail. It'll do it like in about a minute. There's really no instruction needed. Even you just have to have the Gmail account, have to have your login and password. That way, it's kind of like a free just storage. You can people want to set up Dropbox for like physical things, PDFs, things that you're storing, but ideally, what you want to do is you want to, like I said, you want to deploy agents to those counties. You can use the market guide. If you have the market guide, you could actually just even add it with agent deploy. Can you are a scout. Can you review my market guide and deploy, and according to the market guide, the market guides are really good to help you with that PDF I sent you. Like you could add that to the plus and just add it to files and tell it it's what it's going to do and to use this market guide and then what output you want. You always want the output. A lot of times it'll come on your canvas as well. Obviously, canvas is the screen. So if you do that, then you'll get some stuff right away. And
Hmm.
I'd like to see you actually do that at some point because I want to be able to guide you through that process when if they're on screen. But it's going to go through a process. It could take a couple of minutes. It could take as long as 5 to 10 minutes to do that to generate that on screen. I generally get my reports. I get 3 on Monday, 4 on Thursday, 3 on Saturday, 10 a week, and I'll usually get them pretty detailed. That's what I posted one this morning. I posted in the grid so you can see one of my get. I get a national one. I also get one for Colorado. After we're done with your screen, I'll show you what my Colorado one looks like because you can
Okay.
generate that same report from Michigan. So
Okay.
yeah, so you want to get your market guide. Probably that's a good way to do it. Is just so that way you can just say you are, a scout for foreclosures, pre foreclosures. please follow this market guide that that you've added, and then what you want it to do, and where you want it to, what results where to send the results. Like, do you want it on the screen, or do you want it in that email, or do you have another email that you prefer?
You know what? I'm going to create, I haven't done it yet. I'm going to create a separate email just for this, like you suggested.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what you want to probably do if you're going to do that, because that's the best thing. And then you can send to this Gmail address after you've already set it up. Like I said, you just go to Gmail, set up the free one, get your login and password, and then you go into apps, in the left part of the sidebar, and it'll have Gmail, and you just connect there. Push connect, and it'll go through the process. It probably takes a minute. It's going to ask you for the login and password. It's going to go back and forth maybe 2 or 3 times real quick in about a minute. It's going to take no longer than a minute, then you're going to be connected, and then you can have all of your flow go to your Gmail, and that way it's there, because there are some of the AIs have had some, like Claude has some issues right now where it's actually, I don't know, it's got a few minor things, and the only thing I don't like about it is the time limits. Like, I can go in there and build for like an hour. What I built this morning took me about an hour. I used about 70% of my weekly of my they have sessions. I can do like 3-4 sessions a day, almost like every 4 hours. GPT, I could log in right now, and I could be there for the rest of my life in one session, and it wouldn't log me out. So there's no limits. Yeah, that's what you want to do. You want to deploy your agents, and you're going to start having them locate. But you can even do a manual search. You can ask it to search Wayne County, AHJ's counties for foreclosures and pre-foreclosures. Now, GPT does not like the word scraping, whereas with Claude, we can mention scraping all the time. So the idea is you want to go to the AHJs, to the counties, and get it at the freshest point. Because, like I was saying, when you asked about skip tracing, another thing that, like PropWire and all those companies that charge skip tracing fees and subscriptions, they don't tell you that there could be a process. A process server had to send them the paperwork or mail. So their address and all that's going to be like what I showed last week. You can sometimes find their current address, and it's easier to find a phone number. Sometimes the phone number is there as well. It just depends on the state, what kind of requirements. In Colorado, I don't know how it is in Michigan. I haven't looked really, but in Colorado, they have to have the phone numbers and stuff on there. So if those the people were served, I got their current address, their current email address, and their current phone number.
Wow.
Don't know if that's the case in Michigan.
It's not. They give the address, but not the phone number.
Yeah, it's wherever the process server. Because I don't know if you guys have, if the counties and stuff use process servers, or if they use the sheriffs.
Mm-hmm.
So here they give them a choice, but the mortgage company has to pay $75 to the sheriff. Or if they do it their own process server, they can use whoever's process server is. But yeah, that's what you want to do. Yeah.
Help me with this agent. I put in, you are a scout for pre-foreclosures in Wayne County, Michigan. Go to the AHJ in that county and find, what was it you said? The off ramps.
Because I don't know if Michigan is NED or NODs, the notice of election demand, or the NODs. So you want to find the filings. If you can find the filings from the mortgage company or the lien holder, find the filings from the lien holder. Because that could be a mortgage company, it could be a different, private lien holder, and then return them to here, and then it can do it on screen, and we're good. I can walk you through it, but like I said, you want to get these going to your Gmail, because that's just a better place to store it, and then you can take it anywhere. And see what it's going to do. Now it's going to think. So 5.5 is supposed to come out this week. The model. Right now we're still in 5.4. You don't have to worry about anything. It'll just automatically be, you'll wake up one morning, it'll be in there. So now it's going to go through this process. And now you'll see it actually talks to itself. And now it starts populating, and you start seeing. It should go quick because you only ask it for Wayne County. Imagine me, I tried to do like 50 counties at one time, and I was there for like 20 minutes. You may get a bad gateway. That happens sometimes. You'll get 502s, you'll get 404s. Generally, it'll still give you a pretty good return, but there may be sometimes where you have to tweak stuff and go, hey, well, find out why the 404. It's in my case, I had one in January because our county where I actually live was revamping their IT department, and they had everything like haywire like right after Christmas before they, right when they reopened for the year. Bad gateways, and it'll tell you why, but there's really nothing you can do right now on here except just wait. But yeah, it's getting the information together. Even if you hit 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 bad gateways and 404s and all that, it looks like it's still going to give you some pretty good information. Yeah, so it's pretty good.
All of the legal notices for Michigan go through the Detroit Legal News.
Yeah,
You have to have a subscription in order to download anything off of it, in order to make a list and download the list. Is it possible for me to, and I have a subscription, is it a way for the agent to take my login and password and go in?
you should be able to. It's a question that a lot of people will have if they want to. But if you feel like you want to do that, then yeah, you can do that and see what it. I don't know what it'll say in some cases, but yeah, it's up to you. Like I said, some people won't want to do that because they don't trust the system that giving that kind of information. But yeah, if you feel like it, you can tell it you have a subscription and ask it if you provide the login if it can do it. It just depends on the situation. Like it's not going to do it if you don't have a login. There's no way to go around the paywall or anything like that. That's what Bill has a problem in California with. Because of California, and here's Brandon. Brandon's in Michigan too, so maybe Brandon has some insight. Hey, Brandon, what's up?
There he is.
What's up? Hey, got Kevin Flowers on. I don't know if you know him yet. He's from Detroit, so you guys are in the same state. So he's looking right now. He just deployed his agents to Wayne County. That's what we're watching right now. It's getting all his agents together. And then he's setting up a free Gmail account. So if you guys go over and see like the App Store, you can connect to Gmail, but you want to go to Gmail first, set up a free account there, have your login and password, then come back, connect. The GPT will connect to it, and what you can start having do, what I was just telling Kevin, is you can start having it send all your foreclosures and all your stuff to it. So it's kind of like a free version, like just kind of a database or whatever, where you can start having that information sent. It's kind of cool that way. And that way, I know a lot of people have to go high level when they have their CRMs and stuff, but it's just a good way to get all the data. And then you don't always have to depend on GPT and stuff if you need to do other things with it. But that's what he did right now. He just deployed his agents. So you deploy your agents, bring them down in that plus where the plus sign is. You see where his blue, it says agent there. So this could take a few more minutes. And so what it'll do too is, like he put in his market guide, or his description, Wayne County, and go and look for the AHJ of the counties for foreclosure information. So you always, and that's both for both of you guys, just remember, you always want to tell it what it is, what the agent is. You are a scout, you are a distress intelligence agent, you are a rehab estimator. So you always want to tell it first its role, its job. Then you want to fill it in as much detail as possible about what its job entails, its job description. And then you want to close with the output, what you want in response. So the prompts are 3-part. Yeah, this is giving some pretty good information. It looks like you guys will see a lot of times it'll talk to itself. Sometimes it's funny when it gets in an argument with itself. But I've seen it happen where it starts arguing with itself. So it's kind of interesting.
So prompts are always in 3 parts. What it is, what the agent, when you prompt an agent, what the agent is, what you want it to do, and what you want it to do with the information.
Yeah, there's different agents that, they have different purposes. But yeah, generally, if you're just going to come up with a prompt, like I said, you always want to have it in 3 prompts. And I learned that there's a couple of people out there. You guys probably have seen that by now because the algorithm shows up. But there's a couple guys out there that are just really just AI gurus. They just talk AI, and they put a lot of prompts and stuff, and they talk about it. And I've been on it for some of their webinars, and they talk about that, how to build a perfect prompt. And it's always like 3 parts. And you want to be as detailed as possible. Like what you want. Like you want, if you're a list pending state, make sure you get like the list pendants and you get the court information. If it's a non-judicial foreclosure state, you got NED notice of election demand or notice of default. So NED and NOD. So those are the 3 different types of documents you want, depending on the state and what its foreclosure laws are. But yeah, there you go. It's hard to build it. Cool. Yeah, so you started to build it. So it looks like there's some notices. There's a few.
Mm-hmm.
So if it's already got some properties and stuff, you could actually start having it. You could actually deploy another agent to pull comps in those properties. But you could put that's where you might want to just copy and paste this. Sometimes you could have it just make a PDF, but since you're right here, first I would just copy and paste and go to your buy box, and then go and see if any of those properties actually, will match your buy box. If you don't want to go through and read it while it's on the screen. And then the next thing you want to do is then basically just have it start pulling comps based on those properties just to start the process. But yeah, you can copy and paste it and go to your buy box and ask it to run it against your buy box. And if it can do it properly, sometimes it's weird when you try to copy and paste. Oh yeah, there you go. Yeah, and I would just copy it and then I would go over to your buy box and open a chat on your buy box. Close out your agent. Yeah, go to your buy box project, and then open a chat on your buy box so that there's chats in the buy box in the projects.
Oh, shoot, my buy box is oh shit, it's way up here.
Well, you can
I
open
didn't I didn't make a project out of my buy box. I just put it into the
okay,
core.
you can ask it. You can put it in the prompt bar and just ask it and check it against if you
Oh,
have properties to your buy box. Or you set up a buy box project and you start doing the chats. So it seems a little archaic and manual. For the first probably 30 to 45 days, it's gonna be that way. It's gonna build all the intelligence and it's gonna start like compounding it all. And so you'll have to so really the projects where you have these buy box and you have your agents and you have all your tools, eventually that's gonna be supplemented by you can do almost everything from your prompt bar as it because it'll become smart and it'll be intelligent. The other thing you can always do is you can also just copy and paste, go to core, and you can use that one that's basically the stress to deal pipeline one and go in there and put it in there with some fast track tools. But you only really want to do that if you really got a deal that you need to get done right now and you don't have to, because it can take anywhere from 7 to 10 sessions to as many as 15 to 20 to actually become fully predictive, which is what you want because then it starts looking in your counties and your markets. There you
I didn't even. Oh boy.
go.
Okay. How do I get back to where my agent was? Oh, is that stuff gonna still be there? No, it's not.
Yeah, they're right there. Go up, go up. It should be right there.
Oh,
There. Yep. If you're still in that project, you're good. If it's a project, you're good. If it's a chat, you're not. But if it's a project, that's why I tell everybody set up projects and do a lot of stuff in projects because it does save everything. Whereas chats disappear. So, and then because then you want to ask it if it can pull comps within You know, do you want a half mile or a mile? I don't know the area. I mean, it depends if it's urban, suburban, suburbs, what it is. You know, if you want to have it start pulling comps within a half mile, within 6 months, 3 months, whatever it is. Everybody determines their own. You know what. So there you
Mm-hmm.
go. So it's going to tell you where it fits.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to give you some options on this. But you can ask it if it, all these properties, if you can run comps within a half a mile to a mile, depends on what you want. What time frame? And you can always just ask it if you like these. You can ask it to save it in a PDF, and then eventually, like I tell people, you save it if you want to save it in your documents. That's cool. If you want to open Dropbox, it'll actually help you. You can connect to Dropbox through apps as well, and then it'll actually walk you through how to just drop everything in Dropbox. It'll help you create the files and all that. That's just another tool. So if you don't want to because I always tell people you don't want to look at my downloads. Yeah,
So if I want to make up my buy box an actual project,
yeah,
do I have to copy and paste my buy box and then put it in
yeah.
new
You
project?
should, because that's how it's, because what I'm trying to do is get everybody to start their buy box, then go to their comps. Go to those different projects, at least to start filtering down as it builds, because that way you can run chats. So you can start running your searches. You can start running this search in your buy box, and then the properties that work, well, then you want to run comps. So those properties, you want to run your deal analysis tools. You want to run your rehab scope of work, market rate assessment, and skip tracing. And that's how like Eric went from like 1,000 to 10.
If you can find a way to store these different elements somewhere offline, in case something were to happen to them, that you could just re-import them, that would be another thing that you might want to consider doing.
That's why we're suggesting Gmail and Dropbox or Airtable. Airtable takes it up to a whole nother level. You have to build it, but most people who have built it have been able to view it in like
Or put it on an SD card or something. Point being is you want to have an extra copy of this somewhere offline that you can get in case you have to repopulate it.
Right. Okay.
yeah, yeah. There's some, like I said, there's some tools and apps in here you can use. Brandon, you got any questions? I know you're on here. You guys are kind of probably at the same point.
Yeah, I was just kind of following along. Yeah, I haven't tried to deploy any agents yet. I just built my buy boxes as far as I've got.
Okay, yeah, and then if you need market guides, let me know. Give me some counties or something, and I'll build that for you. Just like I built for Kevin. Market guides just basically the counties, the AHJs, what you're looking for, what you're looking for, asset classes and all that. It'll research it. I'll give it to you in PDF, and then just save it. And then when you want other counties, you can just then take that market guide, input it, and ask it to duplicate it for those counties. And if you like zip codes, you can put in the ones you like. If you don't like zip codes because they're war zones or something, you can tell it not to search those. But generally, what I tell people to begin with is just start getting a lot of information, even the nose. Because if you go too many war zone type things and you exclude, then it's not going to learn. It learns a lot more from nose. So at first, you really just want to get as much information to feed into it as possible. But yeah, it's pretty good. So yeah, you deploy your agents, and like I said, it's a three-part thing. You tell it what it is, what its job is, then you tell it what its job description is, and then you close with what output you want. What do you want to return to you, and where? So kind of 4 points actually, but yeah, it's pretty cool. So yeah, then Kevin, you want to probably run your ask it for comps in those in those areas, and then you can save it to PDF, or you run it as a comps project. Like I said, the reason I've been telling people to run it as everything as projects when you're starting is that it retains it. You don't have to worry about going to find it. Some people have put in their buy box and they have to go back and find it and it's like you can find it. It's just a process of getting to it. It may take 5 to 10 minutes to go hunt it down. Or if you leave everything in projects, it's always going to be there. Don't use chats for any kind of deals or anything like that for deal flow and workflow. chats are great to ask questions or learn things, or have, explore the projects. And then after about 30, 45 days, when everybody gets kind of predictive and everybody's got it down, then maybe probably at that point, everybody can start maybe setting up their own GPT, and I'll help them with that. Because we got your GPT, you can build a GPT, and you don't have to share it to anybody. Well, you can share it like business partners or people like that, but then you can just run your whole business with GPT. It runs everything because, like I can show you guys on mine, you have to give it, give it its title, its description, 4 conversation starters, which I could, those 4 buttons you guys see in the when you first get on the RCIC core screen. And then you get instructions, 8,500 characters or less for instructions. It'll help you write the instructions. And then you get 20 slots for PDFs, Excels, Word documents, anything you can load there. And that's what powers it. So at the 7 Gmails, I've got over 140 PDFs powering all 7 GPTs. So, and I'm able to build all those PDFs and stuff and build quite a bit of knowledge and stuff. I've connected databases and all kinds of stuff. That's what's giving you guys all the power behind everything. So it's kind of cool. Once you want to do your own GPT, it's kind of cool. So cool. What point are you at, Kevin?
Say again.
Where are you at now?
Oh, actually, I had pulled up, went to the MLS to pull up this Rosemont address to see what the house looked like.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go.
It will sometimes it will pull up Zillow, Redfin, and Realtor if you ask it. It'll do. You can ask it to do a public, search on public knowledge. Public, see some kind of knowledge or,
Oh yeah, probably could have pulled up an image off Zillow.
Yeah, you could just put it in there. Hey, can you run this property? Can you do a deep dive on this property? And then after it does the deep dive, then ask it to run comps, because then it can start pulling up all the comps in there. And after that's when you let it run, do your the market reality assessment. And you want to run, if you get something from a wholesaler or a list seller, you want to do daisy chain detector, and I'll explain that some other time, because most everybody in our groups now are going to be going to AHJs, and you don't have to worry about that. But it's like going to market reality assessment's kind of cool. Like I said, I did one on my grandparents' old house. We sold it. It's been remodeled twice. It was pretty interesting because then I fed it some of the knowledge of the house that I had, and it kind of started changing its perception. And then by the end, it had like exit strategies, and it actually was good enough that Denver just created an ADU law allowing ADUs. And it referenced that, and that law had that ordinance had just been passed like 3 weeks before that, and it actually pulled that ordinance out and said, "Hey, here's the ordinance. If you do an ADU, it's going to cost this much, and then it's going to increase the value of the property by $539,000 over 10 years." So like, holy crap! I can't believe it did that. Because market reality assessment, you can start on the street. You can go to like, if you're in a lot of cities that have regular blocks, you got 4 streets, and then you go out a little further, you get 4 major streets, and then you can go to the whole zip code or the whole, and you can go to like 4 or 5 different points where you can start building out and getting all the comps. You can also start at the zip code and shrink in. You can go any way you want with that. And the cool thing is you can start looking at like all the different kind of neighborhoods. It kind of pulls a lot more comps. So you get the comps that you want, but you might also get some backup comps in the area that says, hey, maybe over here it's a little bit higher, maybe over here it's a little bit lower. So I like market reality assessment because it's really good, especially in those especially in those jurisdictions where it's like different types of residents. If you're looking at residential, because I look at 80127 in Denver, which is actually Littleton, Colorado. So it's down, and you guys ever see the map? It's in like, it's right against the mountains, and it's like there's a road called Deer Creek Canyon. Lockheed Martin has a big plant there, and it's like they probably got about 1,000 employees. They build most of some stuff. You'll actually see some. It's like cool. It's like a whole valley that's inside these mountains. But the neighborhood across the street are $5 to $10 million houses. You go about a mile up the highway, there's houses that are about $1 million. You go down the highway, they're about 750. Then you get into the 500,000s, And so it's kind of market reality assessment is really good for kind of doing that, kind of picking stuff apart and showing you why things happen in that jurisdiction, that county, the way they do. Yeah, once you get all your properties with Zillow, Redfin, Realtor, then you can put that information in there, and then you want to start running your comps.
Well, I asked it to comp the Rosemont address within a 1 mile radius of the property, and it came back with seven different comps.
Did it?
Mhm.
And obviously to gain a little bit, confidence in it. A lot of people are doing a lot of just manually when you're first starting manual comparison, because that way maybe if it's off a little bit, then you can kind of add that formula. Let's see.
But I should have been more targeted in what I was asking for, because it's giving me sold dates that are like 2 years out.
Yeah, you can ask it for different dates. It's not
Mhm.
if it's because obviously your county's gonna have a lot more.
So
So
Nate, if I like to ask it to do something like that, I did it. I wasn't in agent mode when I did it. I just typed it into the core.
yeah,
When
yeah.
when you do that, does it take its directions from the projects that are inputted into the RCIC core?
Yes, to a certain degree, but yeah, anything you want to do, like you want to do workflow, actually go out there and research. You want to use agents, or you want to, that's kind of the best thing,
Okay.
that is to use them. But when I try to, once you start putting populating a lot of your information, it's going to start. Then the intelligence is going to build, and then once the
Mm.
intelligence builds, it knows you, knows what you're looking for. Then it's going to be a lot easier. By the time I think by the time we hit Memorial Day weekend, everybody's going to be rocking and rolling because
Is there a limit to how many agents you can use?
you get 40 a month, but I've so a lot of times, I would actually you could use the general prompt bar without using
Mm.
agent, it'll still
Oh,
do it.
okay.
It's really great. It's just if you really want something consistent and really, on a basis, because my agents are deployed all the time. I have 10. I don't use all 40, and it's just it brings me those reports every week. And that's all I do. And you can have an agent do it. So you can have it out there searching these AHJs, and then you can have another agent. Let's say you have 3 counties, use 3 agents, use another 3 agents, and put them on a permanent. You can put them on permanent to run cops. So basically, then they come back to the AHJ, they go in your buy box, and then you hand off to the cops. And then it's a pretty good system to do it. There's a thing we're working on, Lily and I are working on called Overnight Deal Engine, but it takes 12 agents to do it. And basically, it does the whole flow all the way to Capital Passport. The agents hand off to each other. They hand off, but it uses 12 agents. So then you got 28 a month. Now, when you start using agents, you'll get a screen. It'll pop up like a little pop up. Hey, you got 37. You get you get reallocated on this date next month or whatever. So you get 40.
So when I go to agent mode, well, let me ask you this: is there a way for me to go to agent mode and then make a project out of the agent so I know where it's at?
Yeah, you can do that. You can, yeah, anything you can do, you can ask it. It'll tell you how to do it too. And it'll tell you how to do it cleaner than I will.
Oh,
That's why
okay.
I learned. Yeah, and I use learning mode, but also, yeah, and that's
You
where
know
I
what?
start.
I keep forgetting that I can pretty much do ask it anything. I keep forgetting that I'm tiptoeing through
Yeah, well, no,
tiptoeing
that's what
through
I'm
the living
saying.
rooms because I don't want to break any of the china, and I keep forgetting that
No,
it's.
no, you're not going to break it. I've tried it. I was trying to break it before I ever back last summer before I ever got like Willie was the first because some of the people that were first using it had been in our group forever. For a couple of years. So I had them test it because I knew they'd give me better, feedback for that. Like if something goes wrong, I just didn't like, charge like this whole thing with now with going with, making this change on May 1st to all the subscriptions and all that. I wanted to make sure everything was working before I ever had just tons of people, where it's out there on the open market where I could have 5 people sign up one day and then, I have to do tech support for that. And I'd rather tweak with you guys in the morning, but unfortunately we have to have a sustainable business. But yeah, you can use learning mode when you first go to the RCI screen. When you get into modes and ask it for learning mode, and you can ask it anything. It's more powerful because it is so loaded with I uploaded all the documents and everything that I put in there. Because people could have asked me before, can you do this kind of stuff without even having RCIC? And I said, yeah, you can do it. You can do some stuff in free GPT, but you get cut off in like 30 minutes. It says, hey, you're out, your session's over. So yeah, I use learning mode for everything. As much as you want to learn, you can ask it anything. You can ask it for a very basic, almost like a C spot run kind of thing, where you can ask it all to like, can I have the MIT version? So if it's like something you really want to learn, but you don't have it, take it, get a slow learn it, slow roll it. But once you get going, then you can start having it's just amazing what it does. I've asked it some stuff because I'm having to learn some stuff too. And a lot of people don't like it. Kevin can probably tell you because we both came from the same organization as Covo Capital of Lee Arnold. And it was a 40-hour class. I didn't have to attend it. I was in Colorado. It was in Atlanta, so I watched it on live stream. But it's 40 hours to be the private money broker certification with that program. And it was like, and it basically just teaches you single family 1 to 4. It doesn't really get into anything else. Everything else I learned on my own. Basically just decided, because I was trying to be a better broker, private money broker for my clients. And I started having a lot of my 7th deal. And I don't know if you and Brandon know this. Kevin's heard the story probably ad nauseum. But my 7th deal was a $7.2 million deal I brokered with a family office. So I made $212,000. That was my 7th deal out of the gate as a private money broker. And I became kind of a legend at Kogo. Every once in a while, somebody will see me. No, every once in a while, somebody will see the testimonials and they'll hit me up on Bigger Pockets. Hey, that's you, or you're real? I didn't think testimonials are real. Because they put 2 and 2 together. And it's like when you go to like Lee Arnold's, like his funding tours, my picture and all that pops up on almost every one of the stops. Talking about my 7th deal. But I didn't even do it with them. I did it with a family office.
That's cool.
And then I had a securities attorney ask me one time if I'd gone to law school and just didn't take the bar, because I wrote some PPMs for capital, raising capital, and the securities attorney was like, "Holy crap, you got stuff in here that even my guys, people at a law school sometimes forget." That when she was hiring new attorneys out of law school, or they were interning before they took the bar. So it's a lot of it I just learned and stuff, and you guys can go in that learning mode. Like I said, it's like I probably have 50 books like this, and I put a lot of this stuff in there, just tons. And that's Rod Cleve. You guys are multifamily, and I know Brandon, you said you are. Yeah, get in touch with Rod Cleve. And I can connect you. He's one of the. He actually has a free. He does his boot camp free now because he's at that point where he's. But I went to a seminar. It was like he actually gave me a favor one time. It was like $1,500 for VIP Platinum, where you get to steak dinners and all that. And he gave it to me for like general admission price because he was a friend of mine. So he's a great guy if you ever guys really want to go into multifamily. And I know when he's doing his free like weekend boot camps and stuff online. He used to have like, I don't know, he probably had as many people Brandon and Space did at some of his events, and some of his he'd have like 700-800 people at his different at his like 3-day boot camps. That's when I got that from a 3-day camp. So I've inputted 12,000 pages of documents and materials, and all 19,000 lending and funding contacts. And I'm still probably only not even scratching the surface for what I've already uploaded. That's why I had to create all those other GPTs, because I just have so much. I can't I just got tired of like trying to restructure them, and like hopefully when I added stuff to it, I didn't hit stuff that was in there. So I'm kind of leaving it alone. But this stuff with Claude, you guys, this stuff's really amazing, and being able to do all these apps and stuff, and all the apps work. So if nobody wants, there's only a couple of things that people actually would have to get Claude for. The main RCIC Systems, But everything, a lot of the stuff works offline. It just works a lot better when it's connected. So everybody will have to make a decision if they also want to get a cloud subscription, but that's another 20. But what I would suggest is using, if they do, use that for those apps to run them, but still do all your work in GPT, build your ecosystem in your business in GPT. Then when you need a bit of cloud, you can build it, you can take it over there because it'll make those apps you can make your own. And I'll even throw it out there if anybody wants, probably in May and June, everybody starts really getting predictive and knows the GPT, and you guys want me to put an app together. I'll put an app together in Claude. It'll work offline and then you can connect it. But here's another thing. Claude loves, I mean, I give it all. It does not have a complaint. Sometimes it knows that it's GPT. No problem. You do anything the other way. OpenAI is like, I'm surprised it's not dropping F-bombs anytime it sees anything that was made by Claude. Like OpenAI hates Anthropic because they're like, there's obviously Meta, Google's got theirs, Elon's got his. I don't know. I use Grok for more like when I'm just on Twitter, just because it's free, and once in a while. But yeah, no, it's like, it's interesting. I'm gonna start showing you guys a lot of the cloud stuff too on like Thursday nights. So I'm gonna do 4 this week and 4 next week Zooms. So I'll do the 2 on Wednesday and Thursday at 5, and I'll do the one on 12:30 on Friday. Just so you guys, especially if you're building yours and then you get stuck again. But like I said, the other thing is also, like I've been telling people, if you got something, like just screenshot it or copy and paste it, put it on Messenger between like 8 o'clock my time and then, and I've been pretty good at tweaking stuff. That's usually what I'm building. So I can usually get you guys like a PDF back with a solution, but now it seems to Kevin like this is going to populate for you. It's going to work well for you. Just like I said, just kind of use the projects. I know it seems manual. There's a little bit of work involved. Eventually, 15, maybe 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks as the next month goes by, you're going to start realizing that those projects is what's powering you just to be able to work from your pop bar and not have to go back and forth with all the projects. That's what, because you're training it. So it's like you're training your employee is what you're doing. So that's how you guys want to think about it. You're training your employees. And that's what your agents are. And once you got them out there, guys, like I said, you got 40, it's limited if you're using them all the time. So kind of prioritize, like have them if you're doing 3 counties, 4 counties, or whatever. 1 per county is good. If you get more than 1 counties, like my agent will actually do that whole list. If you guys see that on Facebook from my post earlier, I'll tag you guys or I'll send it to you afterwards so you guys can see what I posted. Matter of fact, I'll go to that screen if you guys want. Let me go to that screen and I can show you. So and it does. So when you use agents like that, it'll send you an email, like basically, hey, GPTs, and you guys probably seen me posted before. And it'll say, hey, you got an update, right? And then you click on it, it'll come here and open the chat. So here's let me see if I've got one for. I'm trying to get the right one set up real quick. Let me see. Sometimes these can take a minute to populate because what also happens in chats compared to projects, chats have a lot of information. So this is obviously my Colorado one, right? So you guys can generate the same one for Michigan as Colorado, but this is what I got this morning. So it runs my last 7 days, and it's got these counties. It's got, I've got more counties than that, but it also gives me the county public trustee system and the Colorado Judicial Branch in Denver Court. Because Denver has, obviously is a big major city. It's got a lot of its own stuff. Colorado Judicial Branch, I'm able to go get evictions and probates all at one source because it doesn't matter what county it is. They're all run by the Colorado Judicial Branch. So here, like I said, you've got these are off ramps, right? And then anytime you on ramp, you're just basically like in my screen in my taskbar. I go back and I on ramp back. So here I've got my off ramp to the Colorado Judicial Branch. Here's my trustee foreclosure search tools, NED, and this is Jefferson County. This is actually where I live. And then it's got a state eviction dashboard. It's aggregated. They don't do raw cases. Some states raw cases. So once you get to the places like in the states like that, that's when we do the market guide. Yeah, it kind of goes through that market guide and kind of learn about your markets and how things work. If you're already not familiar, if you're already familiar because you've done business, you might know. But you should look at it anyway because you might learn something that you didn't know. So here it actually gives me a breakdown. So you guys can have this. It tells about the counties, and it starts giving like here's the read. It starts giving me look a strategy. Like here's a stable pipeline in Jefferson County. Denver obviously has a lot of evictions going on right now. Arapahoe County is a foreclosure leader right now. Douglas County is quiet. It's a very affluent county. So my brother's a state representative in Douglas County. Boulder, low volume, higher equity. Obviously, Boulder is very affluent. You know where University of Colorado is. El Paso County, which is Colorado Springs. So it talks about more bars, more activities. So you guys think about this, and this will help you guys if you know there's more bars. Yeah, just you can set it that way. So you don't have to read it. And you can get numbers. So here I'll start getting in the zip level of hot zones. It'll start telling me tier ones. It'll give me the zip codes like 800013 compared to 17 in Aurora. You get down to Colorado Springs, 80916 and 80909 are two very active for rentals. And there's a lot of stuff going on, activity there. It'll tell you that. So like I said, you guys can get that for Wayne County and Genesee County and all those, all those other places. You guys, and it gives me the strategic picks. So like I said, everything that I'm doing here, you guys can do in your own markets, and you can have agents do this. This is one agent per month does this and gives me this for every week. So it talks about what's happening in Aurora, what's happening in Denver, what's happening in El Paso County, Colorado Springs, what's happening in Jefferson County. Then you get your top 10 actionable activities. So it'll tell me that I've got my off ramps. And those are repeat foreclosures. There's Denver. Fed obviously is tied to evictions. Here's Jefferson County. Golden's in Jefferson County. Here's Colorado Springs. Here's Aurora. You got Denver again. And then you get down, it gives a strategic reality check. So it tells about evictions, what foreclosures. It talks about what cities, the early warning system, what the Denver landlord stress, not homeowner collapse. Then you got probate, slow, boring, but profitable. Bottom line, so it's not a flood, it's a pressure cooker. So again, it talks about these jurisdictions. So now if I want to go to one of these places, let me see real quick. Let me see if I can go right to Jefferson County. Give me 1 second so I make sure you guys have to stop share and reshare so make sure you guys can see it. Like I said, anytime if I'm ever on these and you guys see me changing, going to off ramps and things, and you don't say, just remind me. Sometimes I don't pick up right away. I'm learning more and more how to do this. So I go to search foreclosures. This is my county alone. So you guys want to look at your markets, look at your AHJs, and go see what they have for searches. Because sometimes you can just go in there and you can go get a lot of information. It's pretty cool. If you already have information, like here's my list of reports, right? I got my pre-sale list. I got my election demand notices. I can pull all the statistical and historical reports and all the archives. You know what I've told people too, if you're able to do this, go in there and pull up and just copy and paste the entire, go back like 3 months or 6 months, build a project and start loading in that information for those counties, jurisdictions you like, because that'll help with the intelligence, that'll help become predictive when it starts, because it'll start picking up things. But here I want to go to election demand notices. So here you go. What was filed on the 16th. This is actually in Jefferson County. This is actually where I live right here. So this report comes out weekly, right? So I go ahead and I'll go ahead and just save it right now. So it gives me all these deals. Now here's what I will do now. So now I'm just going to on-ramp back to it. Let me go ahead and do that again one more time, share screen. And now I'm back to RCIC, right? Now I don't have a traditional buy box at you guys because this is my developer mode. I do have it on the other laptop because I set it up like you guys. So in here, I'm just really going to go ahead and I'm going to use my distress intelligence. So you guys aren't doing what I'm doing. Do what you do because, like I said, my other laptop, I've set it up like a person, like my own, like you guys to duplicate it. Okay. I have a list of files of NED filings for Jefferson County. And you review and advise on recommended properties and opportunities. And then I'm going to go ahead, use my plus. Yeah, let's see if it was already populated. Should have populated. There's my node I just got. I'm going to have it go in there and I'm going to have it read that whole document so I don't have to read it. Now, I have my buy box in here because I don't have my buy box in here. I have it on my laptop. Like I said, if you have your buy box, you can just edit out of your buy box. It'll go through and read a document like that. And then it starts looking at it. So you can pull, then I can have it pull. So it's going to take a second. So it's going to take a second to do it. So it's even going to separate low equity cases and reverse mortgages. You guys will be really surprised once you get going on what it picks up on and separates. It'll start being like a real good filter. So here you guys go. So there's my NED. So it's giving me advice. They're the ones with the likely market value it materially exceeds the foreclosure amount. So here's a top 3796 Ponderosa Drive in Evergreen. Actually, no, that is Highland Hills. And then the next one's Kendall Boulevard in Littleton. And the third is, so they got a fourth. So it's still generating. Yes. Yes, please. Run these as suggested. So it's going to do all this. It's going to basically be a tighter acquisition memo. It's going to have a buy, hold versus flip strategy, estimated max bid ranges, and a due diligence checklist for each address. So now when you guys are running this with everything like I've recommended you set up as projects, you start filtering and then you start filling in the information to your projects. It's going to train your system. Mine has obviously been trained because I've got 1,500 hours and so it'll do a lot of stuff. But you guys look here, it's going through all the systems. It's going through all the Jefferson County, all that stuff. So it's checking like bid inflation. It's checking Jefferson County sale mechanics or or if there's a postponement risk. So it recommends the one in Evergreen and the one in Littleton are primary markets. It's got Miller Way and it's got Welch. And here we go. Here's Ponderosa in Evergreen. Best opportunity shows $325,000 due. The 2016 deed of trust, a fixed 3.625% loan, and a sale date of August 13th. And then Redfin estimates 805 and Zillow about 811. On paper, that is the best spread in the cost. I would underwrite value at about 760 to 790 to stay conservative in the mountain submarket with a 10% closing, sell, carry, reserve, and heavier repair contingencies in suburban infill. I would set an all-in target basis around 610 to 650. Since the debt shown is only about 325, there's room here, even if the thunder bid comes in materially above balance. The reason this ranks first is simple: detached house, strong nominal spread, better exit liquidity than the condo townhome files. The thing that can wreck it is condition: roof, drainage, wildfire hardening, septic well, retaining walls. Okay, let's see. Go ahead, and I'm just gonna basically have it go in real quick, and it's going to the system. Okay. Can you run market on 80439 or I'm just going to copy and paste that in what it just gave me. I'm going to run market reality assessment. So like I said, you guys feed these into your projects and save it to PDFs. I know use Dropbox, use Gmail, stuff like that. Use so that way you don't have to keep everything as much volume on your downloads and all that. Or if you build documents, but then you keep building all this stuff up, especially if you're in certain areas. Obviously, I like this one too because it's an evergreen ride route. So I know exactly where Highline Hills, Ponderosa Drive is pretty good. So it's giving me all the reality check. It's giving me all the 80439, which is my zip code medium sell price, is 910 in March 2026 is down 5.5% year over year. Homes taking about 58 days on market average. It's got the Zillow index. It's got what Zillow is down by 2%, 2.2. So it's giving me all the market reality here. And the second reality check is evergreen property showing mixed signals. So it's giving me a lot of good information. Obviously, where we live, we have wildfire resiliency code and the wildland urban interface overlay. So it is harder in our town to actually insure. There's a few insurance companies. There's a thing called FAIR here, the FAIR plan. It's basically the state takes some money to offset the insurance costs because of wildfire.
Nate, I gotta run. Thanks, man.
Yeah.
I gotta log into a class, a short sale class.
Yeah, like I said, I've got we got both the normal Zooms this week and we got one on Friday at 12:30.
Yeah, I'll be back on. I'll see you.
Okay, cool.
All right, Brandon.
Cool. Hey, Brandon, you got any questions that pertain to, I'm going to save it as a PDF and then I can, yeah, do you got any questions on what you're doing here? Because you're looking at multifamily now, aren't you?
Yeah, I am. Yeah, I think I just need to start setting up some agents. I actually was just sitting here asking it to show me how to do it, and it did a pretty good job of that. Explained it the same way you did, but in a little more detail, I think,
Yeah.
on how to give it its jobs and everything. And
Yep.
You just got to find a way of being able to get T12 information is all.
Yeah, there's some ways to do that. If you correct your LoopNet, sometimes have it hidden. Here's a little secret. I'm not saying, even though it's on recording. But sometimes on Crexy, you can actually just run your mouse over the shaded part of it. It'll actually read. I'm trying to say it on like where I don't. I did it one time and it read everything that was shaded where you had to pay for it. I was like, so I'm not telling anybody to do that, but there's some ways to pull some of that stuff out that the brokers want you to pay for. So I got my PDF.
yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. And then I've also just got to kind of narrow down my searches. I was just searching too big of areas. I was trying to do Michigan and Ohio.
Yeah, kind of at first. I mean, you can do that, but kind of at first, maybe pick 3 to 5 counties or something, or a couple of counties in Michigan, a couple, and if you liked Ohio, where you looking at in Ohio? Kind of Cleveland
I
or
was thinking, oh gosh, I just lost it. Columbus.
Franklin County?
Let's see,
Because
probably Cincinnati.
Yeah, I've got Cuyahoga. I got a market guide for Cuyahoga I can send you for Cleveland. And I did one for Franklin County at one point, but dude, Franklin County is a war zone. Let me see real quick if I can. Here's my market intelligence, my gathering. I don't usually like to use chats, obviously. So let me go pull up my right. I'm gonna see which one I want to use for this.
You got so many prompts.
Yeah, I know. Hey, so here's I did one for Cuyahoga if you want. I got one on my PDF I can send you. Um, can you build a market guide for Franklin County, Ohio? It's AHJ's counties. Hey, you're looking still at multifamily?
Yeah.
And is it possible to highlight opportunities in multifamily? And then I'll say this is a PDF and send it to you. And then you just want to like input the market guide. And so then if anytime you want a market guide, no matter where it is in the country, you could just input it during the plus or add photos and files and ask it to duplicate it for that, whatever county and zip codes.
Nice.
So sometimes this thing I hit a small tooling detour. Keep in mind, sometimes it like hits something and it has to switch tools like internally. So generally, like I said, sometimes PDFs and stuff are blocked or images or whatever. OpenAI is doing some work or whatever internally. But yeah, I'll build this marking guide for you, and then you can start inputting this.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, I'll send it to you right for them. It's a patchwork.
Yeah, I had Chad tell me the other night, it was like, I'm running into some issues on my side. I can't help you right now. Thought that
No,
was pretty funny.
no, and it's funny because it's not a human, but sometimes it starts talking like it's one. Like the best too is like when it starts arguing with itself. Like I can do that. No, I can't do that. Or I got to do this, and it's like, dude, you want to see if we can get ChatGPT to get in a fight with itself? Yeah, so we'll do this, and like I said, if you need more help, like I said, I got Wednesday, Thursday Zooms as normal time, and Friday 12:30. I'm trying to do 8. I'm trying to get everybody up before so everybody can be competent and really happy with their GPT stuff when I start deploying all this stuff I'm doing with Claude. And like I was telling Kevin, it's like all the apps that I'm building work offline. So people have asked me, no, dude, it's still, GPT is still the basis of of everything we do. But Claude is building some stuff that GPT wants me to use third-party apps that I would have to pay for that Claude's just building for me. So I build it all over here. I take over Claude, it builds those apps for me. I put them on Netlify. So next week I got to connect them with like PayPal and all that stuff. And then there's also them giving me the links so I can give you guys all the links so you have access to all of them. But everything I've been putting out works offline. It just doesn't work as well. And Kevin, back to your question about contrast last week. When you're connected to the AI, all the contrast is there. Right now they're static.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
So we can get all these little preliminary things out of the way and everybody armed, and then we can go ahead and push the button. That's basically once that's done, everybody's up to date. Then it's on like Donkey Kong. That's all there is to it. And thanks, by the way, Brandon. I appreciate that. I got that this morning. I'm not going to talk. I ain't going to bother to tell him what's going on there. He'll probably give me a hard time. It's it's Napmas Day.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's Napmas.
Love it.
Yeah,
Yeah, it will
we
be
got
cool if we're
Nathan
all
and
up
we
and
got
running
Napmas.
well so we can help the new people too.
Yeah, we're still working out the bugs on the other thing that was talking about. I was just trying to tell Nate that once when we can get that all nailed down, then we can go ahead and probably start marketing it through those guys through a Q because they do all their stuff through QR codes to track everything. And you know, you just put a college discount on there, and every time they click on it, it applies the discount, and away it goes. So I'm just trying to wait until I can get a chance to sit down with Mike online somewhere and explain to him, there's that and the weather thing that these two are already ready to go. He just needs to incorporate them into his system. So it's no longer just local stuff, but other things that they were going to be doing that anyway. And they're getting ready to expand into Europe and everywhere else too. So it's about time we brought these other tools in place, but you're still sitting there. Whenever you want to go ahead and do your orientation, let me know.
Oh yeah. I appreciate that. I don't know, to be honest. I'm just got myself buried these last couple of weeks.
I know the feeling. That's the thing. This little X-class solar flare that came through a couple of weeks ago really messed me up on everything. I mean, it was just been a technical nightmare, and everything's done by communications now. So a lot of their support staff is in the Philippines and India. So you got 2 or 3 satellites you're bouncing through, and then if you got a big cloud of ionized gas, it doesn't work so well. Some of the integers and the email addresses got changed in the middle of all that.
Yes.
Yeah. It's just been.
I actually just found yesterday that a lot of they had been sending me a ton of emails, but they were all going to my junk mail.
Yeah, this is part of the problem. They're trying to get it all put back together again because it was like Humpty Dumpty there for a little bit. I recognized it up front. I knew what was going on, and I kind of warned everybody on their system that they've got to tighten things up because this X, and they're like, what's an X class? And I'm like, you guys are in the tech industry and you have no idea what's going on with that stuff. You need to wake up. Yeah, so he had to take a day off from doing the classes and actually go in there and help them clean all that up, clean it out, because he's the one who designed everything, kind of like what Nate's doing with the real estate part. So I've got a guy that's got the weather taken care of with this. We got the real estate thing going on with this, and then we got Mike with the college discount programs. All of them will work within 90% or better efficiency. You're not losing with any of that. You can't lose. And if you got to the point where you even have your DocuSign put into this thing, you wouldn't have to do anything. It would just do everything, and then they just go ahead and, electronically file everything. And you got an automated real estate system here. Even your suppliers are on there.
Yeah, Brandon, check your messenger. I just said that too.
Yeah, thank you. So when you send me a PDF like that, what do I do? Just put it in the bar, the Ask Anything bar?
Read through it, make sure it's, and then
make sure it's comparable to everything that you got going on, and it's doing exactly what you want to do. If it needs to have anything else done, just wait until we get together, Wednesday or Thursday, and then Nate will help you straighten that out or make the little adjustments that you might do.
Add that to add photos and files in your prompt bar, and then ask it to incorporate that as your market guide. And then with your buy box, that's where you're going to go search for your foreclosures when you set up your agents to go to Franklin County or Cuyahoga for Cleveland or anywhere in Michigan you're going. And then you can tell it what you wanted to look for. Your buy box should be clear, and then it just depends on the system, on the the state. You can tweak it. And then anytime you want, like I said, that's for Franklin County, for Columbus. If you want one for any other place, you can just input it, ask it to duplicate that, and then basically just put the county and the zip codes. If there's zip codes you like, tell it that you like them. If there's zip codes you don't like that are in that county, tell it you don't like those. But at first, I would just try to get as much information as you can, because even when you tell it no, or you tell it what you don't like, it learns more. It learns better, like anything, and it's in your training. Just remember your agency, your employees. You train them like employees. You tell it what it is, what it's doing, where it's going, what output, and what you expect on the return and where, and you're going to be good to go on that.
Awesome. Okay. So
if you're at the point
I'm
now,
a guy that barely knows how to send an email.
Yeah.
So you just sent that over to me, and I downloaded it. And it came up in the corner and it says open file.
Yeah.
Any idea how do I get that to my chat from there?
I don't know how to get that to into your system.
Yeah, your chat GTP system.
Yeah, you just basically put it through add photos and files. Like here, I'll go. Let me go back to it.
I think we want to know will chat pull it from there, or does it have to be?
You got to manually input it. Yeah. Now, if you do that in Dropbox, if you add it there, you can have chat go back and forth with your Dropbox, but you still got to add it. So you just go to like here on mine, add photos and files, and I would just go put it in there. Just click on this is where I click on it, and then you just use it as your markets. So you just add anything at first. You just got to add things. Like I said, your projects mine are different because I'm in developer mode. You would start you want to build a project for buy box, markets, comps, we have a scope of work, market reality assessment, then ARV, and then skip tracing. Because the idea is you don't want to start with 100 properties. You got to skip trace if you only have to go and skip trace 3. Yeah. 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 Let me get some.
There it is.
Second, I'm trying to answer a question.
Yeah, Nate, I wish I'd have had more time when you came to the meet up there in Colorado so we could have sat down and really dug into some of this.
Well, I was trying to figure that out because of Darren and North Dakota and all that. And it was kind of like
Yeah.
I wasn't sure.
Well, once we get marketing going, we're planning on doing something like he did. Hopefully later on this summer.
Nice.
So, because there's a need for that, but we don't need to be doing it online all the time or on Zoom. If we can just do a quarterly get together, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
Yep.
everybody can do breakouts and compare notes, and it's going to end up growing organically. I mean, there'll be more and more people showing up. It's just the way it's going to go, and that's what we're planning on doing. And then we're going to also tour some of the fundraising venues. The MPLA, we know those people personally. So get back to the roots where we were when we first got this thing started again. So this thing has morphed so much over the last 7 years, it's ridiculous.
It's about anytime you you get on there if you get stuck or anything, like obviously send me tweaks and stuff I can work on for you, but let me show you this real quick. I know well, since this is a good time for me to help you with that. You just like I said, you want to go to your RCIC core, and on your first,
Well,
obviously,
I actually have.
yeah, go to change RCIC mode. And then when it gets in here, you got all these modes you can switch. So you want to go to a switch. You always have to put switch to. Anytime you're done in a mode, you can go switch to another mode, or you can go return to default. Just you have to type return to default. So switch to learning mode.
Okay.
And it'll teach you anything real estate investing wise, anything. So you can go in there and concepts, break systems down, keep outputs educational and structured. So it's pretty cool. You can, it's so here you can go and you can learn about whatever you're doing, however you want to set it up, it'll teach you that. You can ask it for the very basic all the way to like an MIT level of any.
Yeah, when this thing picks up on the library full of stuff that we're going to populate it with,
it's already in there.
you're not going to be able to find anything that's going to be as comprehensive as this. And you could learn it, or you could tell the machine to learn it. It's still going to go crazy.
Yeah, so that's pretty much where you want to go from there.
Okay. Appreciate it.
It's pretty cool. I may take that start here and just have the buy box and change that to another. That's what they call conversation starters. They let you can put in like 8 of them, but they don't have like let 4 stay on the screen. So the first 4 you got are the ones that populate. But those are pretty cool. You can that one on the far right that just the deal is also good because it's kind of like a fast track because like I understood that some people it takes 2 to 3 to 4 weeks. If they start like today, they'd be fully operational probably by I don't know, 3rd week in May, if they do 10 to 12 sessions, when it becomes predictive. So I wanted something in there. It's like a fast track kind of, it can help them right away if they got a deal right away. But it's pretty cool. I mean, this thing really breaks everything down.
Oh yeah.
So like I said, hit me up if you got questions, and I can build another county for you if you want. If you want to send me a couple in Michigan, I'll build you. Because I did I did Detroit, Wayne County, and a couple of counties for Kevin Flowers, and then I did that in Cuyahoga for some people. I did Franklin County back in October because somebody had posted on Facebook, "Hey, we got a list of 16,000 foreclosures if anybody wants to." The guy was selling them. Well, don't tell me the county that you got them in, because I went immediately and I did the research, and like, yeah, Mr. Wholesaler, don't tell people there's 16,000 foreclosures, because I got the system to go find them before you.
Got your list before you did.
Yeah, yeah. It's dude. I found stuff like Daisy Chain Detector. I found a property in Fort Worth. I was because I was testing it. Like so I was just looking at random posts by wholesalers and people in Facebook groups, and I was getting the pictures and I was getting the limited information. I literally went like 10 for 10 on finding properties and finding details on property. One was like outside of by NASA in Houston. It had a water tower like every town in Houston and every town in Texas. And I narrowed it down with the water tower. There was a community pool that had a tennis court, a picnic pavilion, a swimming pool. The house itself had a kidney-shaped pool. So it literally was able to immediately pick up that house, and within 5 minutes I had the address. And then another one was a D.R. Horton building in Fort Worth. It actually narrowed it down to there was two D.R. Hortons developments in Fort Worth, Texas that had that model, and it actually figured out that it was a D.R. Horton and it was this model number. There's two subdivisions. So it took about 10 minutes. And then another 5 minutes once I was there to find out which address it was once it was there, because there's only like 37 houses that were built with that model and like 500 other houses that were built with different models. So I was able to, within 15 minutes, I was able to narrow it down. And that's what I was trying to break it. This is last summer. And going to like every day when I was like getting excited, because I was looking to put everywhere that's in the databases. And when you go to the associates group, compound group, compared to RCI and go to files, you go like, oh my God, how do people find things? I have probably 400, I probably have 400 or 500 things I could still put in there. And that's what I fed into this. So everything that's in those files tab has just been fed into this. So it's pretty cool. Yeah. Hit me up if you got any questions or anything.
Okay, we'll do, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Yeah. If we need to build anything, because I did build a multifamily analyzer for the cloud version. And like I said, the app works offline. So I'll start getting those to everybody in May. I'm doing some final, hookups with the vendors that basically power you have to have what they call keys, and keys basically is what connects it. So when somebody goes to PayPal and they order it, it basically gives them the keys and the access. I don't have to do it anymore. I had to make sure that was all going to be good before I have like 100 people calling me for tech support. I did not want to do that, dude. And Kevin, we kept it down for, we could have really just got out and tried to get like 5,000 people or whatever, but it was like there was no way for us to be able to support it. We'd be like so overwhelmed with tech support. You guys would rather have me build, because that's what I'm good at, than having to sit there and answer like, hey, I do this. Go to learning mode.
Hopefully, as all of us are getting going too, we can help other people, so you're not having to do all of that, right?
No, that's why I got all.
Well, that's what the breakouts are for, because we're going to end up going up front for a day, and Nate will do his thing up there at the up on stage with his little laptop. Everybody will be able to look at it, and then the next day we'll come in and do a little morning session, and then all the breakouts, everybody will be at these different tables doing different things, and different places, different areas that they want to invest. There'll be investment tables for different cities. It's how we're going to set this thing up. And you can think about 3 or 4 days of that. You're going to be in pretty good shape by the time you get done. And you do that once a quarter, you're up to date. You stay up to date. And I think we can get that pulled off. And anybody that's new, that wants to come in, of course they'll pay more. But I think this is going to be a lot easier for everybody to go that route.
And we are setting up an affiliate. We're going to do a higher referral fee to people in the group already. Like, you guys have all the benefits. So they like if they sell a lifetime package of like $100, we'll probably pay out like $500. I can't do anything on $100 ones, but I might build an app or something for somebody if they bring me some people. I can build, because we can build specific apps that actually can deploy this. You can have one just for Ohio, one for just Michigan. Go out there, just scrape, and they can scrape. OpenAI hates the word scrape. Don't mention it, scrape, because it's like, oh my God. Anthropic seems like they'll just scrape to the
Yeah,
bottom.
I started having flashbacks about, fingernails on chalkboards and stuff like that. uh,
Yeah, it's pretty cool. All right. Yeah, hit me up if you got any questions. I'm gonna take off the recording now.
Have a good night, fellas.